Kristen, what's happening?
This is a goddess initiation, and I'm stepping into my personal power.
And you found your stone?
Yep.
That's the one. Let me focus. Wow. 13 point, how many grams?
4.
Wake up. Wow. Wake up. You're home. You've been asleep for a very long time. Many lifetimes at least. You're exiting the matrix. So we gotta train you and heal your body and start purging so that you can be a clear channel to anchor in the energies.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristen, and Moldavite came into my life maybe about a year ago. And before I go into my story with Moldavite, let me just introduce myself really quickly. So I'm a transformational mindset and business coach. I help my clients really unblock and get rid of any money blockages that are coming in their way, that are stopping them from really achieving the life and the business that they truly desire. I work primarily with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, and the main thing that I feel like that is stopping them from really achieving success and achieving prosperity and abundance is really their mindset, right? It's really the energy that's blocking them from doing all the things, right? So it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people talk about, strategy and like the how to's. And I think that when you are not aligned, when you have all this stuck energy and this blockage that's in front of you, it's hard for you to actually do the thing. You can't become the person that you want to become. So that's basically what I do. And I'm really excited to be here on Tammy's channel because I found Moldavite about a year ago, I would say. I found Moldavite primarily through another friend, but it was because of Tammy's video that prompted me to purchase my second one. So my story with Moldavite is really interesting. It's really different. So we'll definitely talk about this on today's video. But I love my experience with Moldavite. It has been life transforming, and I'm just really excited to see how my life unfolds as I continue to work with it.
Hey everybody, so this is Kristen, the other Moldavite person on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's funny how we all cross paths, right? Because with Moldavite, I believe it all brings us together. When we fully do the work or when we start purging, we'll feel the call. And so I remember when I first started YouTube about 2 years ago, talking about my Moldavite experience, some girl messaged me on Instagram, and she's like, I have this Moldavite and I have so many fights with my boyfriend, so I parked next to the freeway and I threw it out the window. And when I got the message, like, oh my God, is this really happening? She was one of the very first confirmations I had. It's like, all right, something's up with this stone. And I just remember distinctly that conversation. I screenshot it. I think this is too funny, right? If Moldavite is really working, then this is pretty intense stuff. And then she also messaged me about the Seven Sisters, how one of my videos resonated with that. So at that point, I had no idea who the Seven Sisters were. I thought I knew, but as this year progressed, I felt like there was someone in California for me to find. And so, like a year ago, when she asked about the Seven Sisters, I asked if she was Vietnamese because I thought they're all Vietnamese. But she said no, she wasn't. So we kind of left it at that. I know she lived in LA, and that's it. And then we kind of went our separate ways. And this year is like, all right, bring these Moldavites to Mount Shasta. Head to Cali, one-way road trip. So I got San Diego. I messaged her. It's like, hey, I'm going to head up to Shasta. Maybe I'll stop by LA. And then you were going to Temecula?
Yeah, so that week, my boyfriend at the time and I, we were going to Temecula to celebrate our 4-year anniversary, and then we ended up getting engaged there. And it was really interesting because when Tammy messaged me, it was pretty random, but like I always had her in the back of my mind. And so she was the one that told me about Mount Shasta, and she sent me that map of like the 7 chakras. Yeah, so she told me about Mount Shasta and how's the root chakra and then the Lionsgate portal. And so I think I really believe in synchronicity and how people show up in your life for all the right reasons for that divine timing. And so when she told me about it, I was really excited. And I just knew I felt really gravitated to going to Mount Shasta. And so I told my now fiance, we need to go. And then I told her, I'm like, hey, we're going to go like on 8/8. And not knowing that it was the Lionsgate portal at the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, you told me about it, I'm going to go because we were going to miss each other. I think you were going to
go the week earlier.
Yeah.
Then I told her, hey, I'm going to delay it back a week, so I'll be there at 8/8. And she's like, oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
And then we started planning this trip for 4 people. And then last minute ended up being 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
But it all worked out so magically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like originally from California, I just tuned into the Moldavites, take these and grid it at different vortexes. And go to Shasta and bring the stones. I was only able to get 33 museum grade Moldavites up there to activate them. And I thought, oh man, what am I going to do down there? Like, I don't know if anybody wants to go to Shasta. But the more I talk about it, the more synchronicities, the more people came for their stones. And the Lionsgate activation, all this stuff that started to piece together, it seems like I need to be down in Shasta, regardless of whoever goes with me or not. And it just happens that we aligned on the same week.
Mm-hmm.
And we both talk about Moldavite, and we all have a channel talking some about Moldavite, right? You have other stuff on your channel. But it's really just my channel here is just to document all these synchronicities, how people, when they surrender, when they feel into the stones, they'll come and they'll find their stone.
Yeah. What's interesting, so I feel really called to share my experience with Moldavite because even though like I talk about Moldavite on my YouTube channel, my goal isn't to like sell Moldavite or my goal isn't to like have a business around Moldavite. That wasn't like the original goal of mine, but somehow the stone keeps coming back into my life in very like miraculous ways. It's almost as if like it's like I can't run away from it, right? And so a year ago when this stone came into my life, I had a friend, Jessica, that basically asked me like, hey, have you heard of the stone Moldavite? And I said no. And then she was telling me how she just recently bought it and it's really powerful and all that stuff. And so I was very intrigued. So I went with her to the crystal shop. I bought my very first piece, which was a tiny one. I think it was like 3 grams or even less than 5 grams, somewhere around there. And I didn't think anything of it, but those 2 weeks that I had that Moldavite, I was getting into like constant fights with my boyfriend at the time, and it was just like really like a lot of energy, right? I remember the first time I had it, I had like these very vivid dreams, and I just like felt like the stone was like pulling me to start taking a lot of action, and it was just aligning me, right? And the thing with alignment is that it's not always a comfortable journey. I think that's what most people think is that like, oh, if I manifest things or if I align to things, that must mean it's like a very comfortable ride. Sometimes I think in the beginning it's uncomfortable until you can get to that alignment, right? Like it really kind of like shakes you up so that you can be in the right place. And so I threw that stone away because I couldn't handle that energy at the time. And it was like literally an eeny-peeny like Moldavite. So I was like getting into all these fights with my boyfriend, and I'm like, okay, like it's this stone, like I have to throw it away. So I drove over, I live in LA, so I drove over to like Runyon Canyon and like the canyons and just like threw it out the window. And I just like...
You probably threw it into a vortex or something, gridded the place.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's probably it. I think so. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah.
Well, anyways, again, I'm not saying that everyone's is going to get into an argument when you purchase a stone. Like everyone's journey is different, right? And so after that, like Moldavite just kept showing up, and I'm like, oh man, like why does this stone keep like coming back to me? And so I do this thing sometimes when I make decisions is that like if it shows up 3 times in my life, like I feel like signs comes in 3s sometimes. So I was like, if it comes up 3 times, then it's a sign that I need to buy my second Moldavite that I would have to actually keep. So third time I got home and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like crazy. So I went on YouTube and the very first video that popped up was yours. And so that's when I messaged her and I told her about what the heck's happening. And then the next day I went and bought my Moldavite, which is this one right here. So this is the Moldavite that I bought the second time, and it has helped me a lot.
But that wasn't for me, because I remember she reached out for a Moldavite.
Yeah.
And she was going to get it for a friend who was a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And at the stage in my life when I was tuning into the stone, it's like only women. So I was like, no, sorry, I can't sell it to you. It's only women. So I don't think she was ready for a stone at that time. So
from you, yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny, like, so we, at the end of this whole thing, we decided, okay, let's all go to Shasta together. So they were flying to San Francisco. I was going to drive from San Diego all the way up to Shasta. But for San Francisco airport, you need to rent it's a 4-hour drive to Shasta.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, I'll pick them up. And then we just all head down that way. And this is our first meeting in person ever.
Yeah. We met each other on YouTube.
Our only interaction was the YouTube and her message from Instagram. But we still kind of kept connected on this whole seven sister thing, right? I wasn't sure. So we went to Shasta. She actually brought her Moldavite to get activated too.
Yeah, and I sold all of them.
Once you got your new one,
yeah,
the old one is released.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So again, you guys, with the Moldavite, right? When you start off with a small one, your body is recalibrating to this new frequency, this higher frequency. So all of these fights, all of these arguments, all of these triggers are coming up to surface for you to purge. So Moldavite's only gonna push that to the surface until you complete it. You cut the cords.
Mm-hmm.
So when you notice your Moldavite's getting dormant or it levels out, right? Meaning your frequency, you already rise it to that level. Now that's when you know you are ready for a bigger Moldavite.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bigger it is, it means more stuff will come up for you, right? Because the end goal, you're trying to be a clear and neutral channel for energy to flow through you. And then share about how you came to your new Moldavite.
Okay, so you can see the old Moldavite here. We call it the kitten, and then here's the new Moldavite, which we call the lioness or the lion. So the new Moldavite came about. It was the second. It was 8/8, exactly 8/8. Lionsgate portal. We were at Kangaroo Lake. So we were on our journey. And Tammy came over to me and she gave me her bag of Moldavites. And she was like...
I only got 33, right? And in the 33, it's like, find your stone.
Yeah, find your stone. So it's crazy because before this one, I thought it resonated with like another one that she had. But it was weird because I just had this feeling that it wasn't mine. Like it wasn't mine. It didn't belong to me. Because she was asking me in the car ride there too. So I'm like, okay, I don't know why I don't feel like good about this one. Like I feel like maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. And then during that journey, that's when she, like all the Moldavite kind of fell out of the bag. Like I reached for this one. And the crazy story is that this one got a little bit dirty with the dirt where we were at. And once it got dirty, we were able to see that it actually looks a lot like a lion. And to us, we felt like it really embodied the lion energy, like the Lionsgate portal, the initiation. Why don't you share more about my initiation? Because I feel like you'll say it better.
It's interesting because I just knew during these journeys, right, when I meet the seven sisters or when I meet someone, the Moldavite calls for them. So a lot of times when I'm traveling with the Moldavites I tune in with each one and I surrender and I say, guide me to who they're meant to call for.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew one was calling for Kristen. I wasn't sure which one. And for each one, right, it has a purpose. So I'm able to tune in like what the Moldavite is asking for you to do. So for me, this is a 13.5 grams. And this looks very soft and smooth. So the energy that comes with mine, love, surrender, and trust. So these three energies is what I hold space for. whenever I'm around this Moldavite, whenever people are around me, right? The energy of trust, surrender, and love.
Mm-hmm.
And so each Moldavite has a lesson for us. So this is the space I'm holding right now as I'm adjusting this new frequency, and as also I'm purging the old. And Kristen's, right, is a little more rugged. This is 13.4 grams, and it's a little more scratchy, right? It's for her. I feel like the energy that why I'm gravitating a lot towards Kristen is she holds his self-empowerment solar plexus energy, right? Because the seven sisters, it's not so much of who it is, it's the embodiment of that energy in someone else, right? So Kristen is right now, if she chooses to accept this stone, she's holding the space for this self-empowerment,
Self-identity.
yes, and like drive, right? Like she's all business on a 3D realm.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm the root chakra. I hold the space of being rooted, being grounded, trust, and be able to surrender.
Yeah.
When you have that foundation. And Moldavite helps connect us with our star roots, our star seeds. So I'm holding the space for the root chakra. Kristen came into that. And it's funny, on the lionscape, and the lion is the solar plexus energy.
Is it?
Yeah, the lion yellow.
Okay.
And Kristen, growing up, your favorite color
was yellow,
right? So it's interesting and then also find out like you're 23andMe.
Oh yes, so recently I did the 23andMe genetics test, and I found out that I'm actually 15% Vietnamese, and that's really crazy because I never knew that I was Vietnamese. I always thought that I was 100% Chinese from Hong Kong. Both of my parents are actually from Hong Kong, but I guess my ancestors 15% of it from Vietnam, and I think that's really crazy because you were looking
for a Vietnamese
Yeah.
sister. So I don't know what that means, but I feel like the whole initiation with it at Kangaroo and the
Kristen, what's happening?
This is a goddess initiation, and I'm stepping into my personal power.
And you found your stone?
Yep.
That's the one. Let me focus.
I felt like on a spiritual level, because what I do know is very deeply rooted within our soul, there's a sisterhood of light. And this goes back to like many, many lifetimes. So, even though physically here in this lifetime we may not be aware of it, but our soul will always be a safe haven for our sisters who are in the sisterhood of light.
Yeah. And I find it really interesting when you mention the different chakras and like how we embody each chakra, because in my programs I also teach something called human design, and for me my solar plexus, or like my identity center, is clearly defined, and I notice that a lot of my clients actually gravitate towards me when they feel lost. They don't know who they are, they lost their identity, and whenever they're within my energy field or my presence, I'm able to give them that direction, right? And so I feel like I just found so much clarity this weekend after meeting you too, because sometimes I get really into the 3D world. I'm really business. I'm all about marketing and like very go, go, go and very driven. She's absolutely right about like, I carry that energy. And what has always been lacking in my life is the root chakra, which is like more stability, security, what's the right word? Like surrendering, right? Is that the root chakra? Yeah. Trust. Yeah, trust. So even though I have a lot of drive, like what is the number one thing I feel like is lacking is always trust, like always surrendering. And so that's an ongoing process for me, because being driven and being not aggressive, but like having that masculine energy comes very natural for me, but surrendering and trusting doesn't come natural for me. So, but when I'm in her presence, I feel like I can let go more, I can surrender more. So I think that it's so cool that you brought that up, how we just embody each other's energy.
And I also, she helps complement my energy, because my self-identity and self-empowerment is lost a lot of times when I'm so deep into the spiritual work. I hear and I see the synchronicities and I tune in, but on the 3D level, it doesn't align, or it's like there's a disconnect. right? So now as I'm working the tuning of my body, getting reconnected with my mind, body, and soul, I really need to start, structuring or how to delegate some of these tasks to have it flow. And if our energies complement each other, then there's possibility there's a lot of going to be a collaboration, right? I'm already tuning in like, hey, there's a lot for us to do here.
Yeah.
I think
For
this
sure.
year is going to bring a lot of momentum, both of ours, right? For mine, it's like personal coaching on a spiritual level, how to cut cords, how to work with crystals, tune in with energy. And for Kristen's coaching, it's all in the 3D realm. Like, she just finished writing a book. That was something on my to-do list. Like, kind of scared to go into, like, it's too overwhelming. But if someone already walked that path, you could cut off the time so much more. And if it's someone you can trust and surrender to, it just makes the process so much more at ease.
Yeah, 100%. So I feel like exactly what you said in the sense that we are gaining momentum, and even though like I am like in that 3D world, I still need to trust and surrender. And I'm glad that you brought up my book, because I feel like my book is written in a way that touches upon the 3D world in a big way, but it also is pretty spiritual. So if you guys want, definitely grab the book. You can get it in the link in the bio. But I think that when you find someone that really complements your energy, then things start to move in a really fast way, right? Because you can't just do things by yourself, like everything by yourself. It's good to have people to like support you, be your support system, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because the Lionsgate Day, I just knew. Oh, the Lionsgate is, I believe, the new year on the celestial calendar. I think I read that somewhere. I may have to confirm, but I think something about that resonates, right? The beginning of a new celestial year. So 8/8. I remember last year my whole sabbatical in Asia, I came back around this time too. 8/8. No, in September, but I was heading back, completing my 7 month. So now it's like around starting a new year. So fully, I'm 2 years in fully with Moldavite.
Wow. Mine's only been a year, but I need to figure out when I bought this stone, because then it was like the month before then.
Whoa! You bought this when you're year 1. Now you initiate your new stone on year 2.
Just got chills.
But I'm stepping into. I know this year is all about community, and I think you're stepping into your root.
Well, how do you know?
Because last year I went back to my roots. To Vietnam, got back to my starseed roots.
Right.
So I think this year may be a discovering for you about your Hong Kong, your Chinese background, your roots.
Yeah.
Because you really need to connect to that to connect back to your star roots and your star seeds. You already feel it calling. But then there's something in your lineage that you need to heal. So this year.
That is so true, though. Because also my grandfather died this year. And I felt like there was a lot of energy there that, I think I told you that, right? About my grandfather passing about a month ago. And there was a lot of heavy energy that he possessed from that side of the family. And in a way, I kind of felt like it's my job to change that story. Right?
Especially an Asian, right? A lot of times, if you're Asian, like us, in our blood, for women, it's like very submissive. You don't speak up, or like our sexuality, or we don't. Our sacral chakra is so blocked and stuck that I spent the last 4 or 5 months trying to work on unblocking it and like healing it. Stuff not from like my lifetime, but all the women in my lineage. So the more we heal ourselves, the more we heal, because blood, right? Blood, water, we're 70% water. Blood is also water, so it goes back to DNA. So all these past lifetimes. So as we're healing ourselves, we're healing all of our lineage as well. And the clearer we are as a channel, right? We clear all our roots, and then that's when we get connected to our star roots. Before humans, there were higher beings, aliens, however you want to put it.
Yeah. And like for people that are watching this, I mean, I feel like most people that are watching your channel are pretty spiritual, right?
High vibe.
High vibe.
Yeah. Others would not resonate.
Well, it's funny because I feel like I'm the bridge between that world and the spiritual world. Like I get a lot of people that are like interested but in the very beginning stage of their spiritual journey, but like they feel really called to it. And so in some way, because I'm more rugged, because I embody that solar plexus energy, I'm more in that 3D world. And so in a way, I feel like it's good for people in the 3D world to have a spiritual side, because especially like if you are running a business, or if you, even if you don't run a business, right? Like you need to tap into, and you need to surrender in order for things to work out, because business is not just about like the logical side and the numbers, but I feel like business is also a spiritual game.
And I think also like the surrender. This came through. I think why people find surrendering so hard is because the trust is underneath of that. If there's trust, then surrender would be easy.
That is true.
Yeah. The trust is like the underlining energy, the root of it, basically. If there's no trust, it's hard for you to surrender. So I think it's just breaking the barriers and trusting each other again. And Moldavite, for me, like opened up my heart so much where I can't feel like I can't contain it. And it's so much more open here in California just because there's so many vortexes, the energy is so much lighter. I didn't know what it felt this way until I got to California and be more conscious. Because Texas, it was like so blocked and so condensed. I don't even know what it felt like to be an open heart. And coming here, like someone triggered it and it just opened my heart and I just cannot contain it. And it's like a ripple effect. And it's interesting. But one thing that popped out to me, how like I never saw myself being in film or like stepping into fame or anything like that. But the vision I keep getting work with Moldavite is where this landscape thing is stepping into fame and or stepping into like this royal light code of a larger holding space for a larger population. And I think by us two going to this landscape portal, being there on this date, right, we were able to anchor in a lot of energy to step into this next level in our life.
Yeah, 100%.
So I already, like, our soul is already there, our body's just catching up. Same thing with Moldavite. This 13-gram Moldavite, that 13-gram Moldavite, our soul is already there at that elevation. Now our body is just catching up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So where we're heading is fame, or stepping into this hot, like larger influence. So I already know that's where I'm heading. I see it from the Moldavites. So with the activation, so it's funny because I thought I was going to get a lot more and find investors to do this, and I only had a week to do it. And so I asked around, and I keep asking. At the end, I could only get like 33. But these are all museum grades, right? If I were to get regular grade, I would have gotten like maybe close to 100 or more. So
you were called to get museum grade?
Just museum grades. The one are activated, just museum grades.
Yeah.
And so out of the 33, 13 I will keep as the vortex for Shasta.
Okay.
20, their owners will come for them, or I will gravitate towards their owner. So you are one. So I have about like 15 left. 2 people ordered it, pre-ordered. 3 others came, so I have about 15 left. So with these, so the 10 to 13 grams, so the 6 to 9 gram Moldavites are probably the small ones, right? 69 grams, they're going to be $444 to hold this anchor in the energy for 444. And so these are all been to Shasta and activated at Ascension Rock, which I didn't even know existed.
Pretty cool place. Like, literally.
Yeah,
You're ascending.
I just knew I needed to bring these stones to Shasta. I didn't even know what else. And then I watched I YouTube Shasta and I saw Shasta Vortex tours, and yeah, I reached out to the lady in there, and then somehow we got. And I'm so happy they were down with the whole tour too. But we all went on that Sunday right after the 8/8 portal, and I just felt like I haven't showered for 3 days since we were out camping, but I just felt like I needed to clean myself that day. Found a shower, and get these stones ready, and then went to the Shasta Forest, National Forest, and there was like these ascension rocks, and divine feminine, divine masculine rock. This energy was, oh, it's so powerful. I don't know. How did you feel?
I felt the same. I mean, we definitely felt a lot of power there. And it's interesting because I feel like things are always happening for you. Like things line up exactly the way they're supposed to, even if you don't think it at the time, right? So I keep staring at this Moldavite, but like what's interesting is that like if you guys see it very closely, it's actually dirty. So there's like dirt that got onto it. And I feel like I was kind of like obsessing over cleaning it because I'm like, oh, I want to like make it clean. But I realized that it's supposed to be like dirty, like it's supposed to have dirt on it, and it kind of resembles my life right now, and also with business, right? That like in order for me to step into who I really am meant to be, it's like I have to get dirty, or I have to like just go for it.
But don't play dirty.
Dirty is like not like a bad thing. It's just like just going for it, just like surrendering, right? And getting dirty.
Not playing dirty.
No, not playing dirty. Getting dirty. Not being dirty either. But yeah, so that just came up for me because I was staring at it, and I think it's a good story and a good reminder because we couldn't see the lion until it got dirty. Actually, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't see the face of the lion until this Moldavite got dirty, and I was like trying to clean it, and then I realized like it's supposed to stay dirty, and it's okay, and I need to set that. So, you know, if you're watching this in your life right now, like what's dirty, and that's probably part of your path, like something that you need to touch base with and align with and accept, and just know that it's okay.
Well, just know if you're watching this video right now, there is a message here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Yeah.
What's the message?
It just depends on the person.
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
they say resonates, whatever they're. Yeah. And then also, we have like 3 massive Moldavite vortex in front of us. Just saying. But I do want to show you guys the grid. But that's our story on how we met. So now I'm like, we just met last week. Now I'm crashing at their place. I'm heading back to San Diego today.
Yep.
But it's just fun. Like when we
what's crazy is that I would have never thought I would just like open up my space for like someone I met on YouTube. Like,
exactly. I'm like, all right, Mom.
Kidding. But it's funny because when I met you, I felt like I've like known you for like many years.
We do. We're like our soul is connected to the sisterhood of light on a deeper level. So there's always a safe haven or open invitation, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, 100%. Gotta trust your intuition.
Yep, and I'm glad we met.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you guys will see a lot more from us.
Yes.
And are you gonna talk about the Moldavite secret?
Oh, so the Moldavite Secrets. Okay, so I bought this domain name in February because I went to this marketing conference in February, and I literally just had this idea of buying the domain name Moldavite Secrets, and
so I feel like, okay, let's end this video just to make it short for everybody, and then we talk about the Moldavite secret in the next video.
Sure. Well,
Okay.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We're talking about the Moldavite secret, where we play outside the matrix.
See you guys.